Welcome to another Genshin Impact character showcase. Today we are gonna take a look at Xianyun, aka Cloud Retainer, who's the last out of 3 new characters I got on this account, which is my free-to-play account by the way, during this banner phase. And of course she isn't really a new character contrary to the other 2 that I got, Varesa and Gaming. She's been out for a while, but she is new for me because I've never had her on my main account and I just got her here on my alt account. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see what she can actually do, especially with Varesa, who is our newest plunging attack character, and of course Xianyun is a plunging attack support. So let's go over the build. My Xianyun, as you can see, has over 20k HP and 2500 attack. Now some of you might think, wait, why is her HP over 20k? Did you give her an HP sense? And no, I didn't, but my artifact substat rolls were kinda crazy, in a bad way. I rolled way too much HP and not nearly enough energy recharge, because as you can see, it's not even 180. I was really hoping that I could get her to 200 energy recharge at least, but yeah, the artifacts just didn't want to roll into energy recharge, which is like one of the most important stats. And the only reason I even have that much energy recharge is that I'm using an ER weapon on her, the Favonius Codex. Otherwise, I would only have like 130, which is definitely not enough. But yeah, well, I guess it still could be worse. Weapon, like I already said, Favonius Codex, has decent base attack, energy recharge substat, just generally a good support weapon, not much else to say about it. And then the artifacts. Oh, the artifacts. You are not gonna believe this. Let's go over them one by one. The flower. Looks fine, right? Yeah, that is actually the only one that rolled okay. It got attack, it got energy recharge, it also got an EM and a crit damage roll, which is not really needed, but you know, at least it got some attack and energy recharge. So, not the worst artifact, definitely usable. But the feather is where it starts. You know, here we have almost 600 flat HP. That's still not too bad, right? Could be worse. But then we go to the sands, and suddenly we're at over 800 flat HP and some HP percentage. But don't worry, it gets even better, because now we have 20% HP. 20%, and of course flat HP is on here as well, because why not? You think it can't get much worse than that, right? Wrong. Because here we have over 1000 flat HP and 15% HP percentage. Like, I really tried to get good artifacts for her. That's why this video is releasing this late. I actually wanted to release it like a week ago. But for some reason, my artifact luck was even worse than usual. Everything just went into HP. Meanwhile, energy recharge, just, you know, nothing. At least I got it on this artifact here and on this one. I mean, there's one energy recharge roll, so could be worse, I guess. But yeah, these artifacts are just ridiculous. But I really wanted to finally make this video and not spend another 2 weeks on farming. But yeah, of course, triple attack on the main stats, because you want a lot of attack on her. Constellation is 0, and the talents are at 6, 6, and 8. With the burst obviously being the most important part of the kit, because that's where her healing comes from. And you want her to heal as much as possible, especially if you're playing her with Furina, which should work really well. Sadly, on this account I don't have Furina, so I can't really test it. But yeah, Xianyun definitely works really well with Furina. I don't really need to test it to know that. So yeah, that's my Xianyun build. Not the best ever, but for now it's acceptable. And I'm very interested to see how much she actually buffs my Varesa's plunging attacks. Can she keep up with Gaming in that regard? And that is the question here. Because I was actually really impressed with Gaming when I did her showcase. She actually turned out to be better than Bennett for Varesa specifically, and also other characters probably that move around a lot in scale of attack, but I mainly tested her with Varesa. But yeah, let's go now and see what Xianyun can do. Her skill is also really nice for exploration. A year ago I would have said it's actually one of the best exploration skills, but now we have all those Natlan characters, so now it's just kind of the standard today to have a skill like that. It's gonna be interesting to see if they still give every character an exploration skill after we leave Natlan and we go to Snezhnaya. But there's probably gonna be some new gimmick for the Snezhnaya characters. But yeah, as a reminder, my Varesa does 26k with her mini burst, as you can see here, unbuffed. And Gaming increased it to 44k at C0 and at C2 to 52k actually, so doubled it. So let's see if Xianyun can keep up with that. Let's apply Electro first so that we can swirl, and let's see how much does that actually do. 6,000 on a non-crit, that's actually not bad. But yeah, let's test her burst now. That was not a crit. We have, whoa, 49k there, that's actually not bad. Stop blocking. And he blocked again. Okay, yeah, he blocked a bit there, but that was a 49k there on one of the plunges, right? That's actually really good. That's more than C0 Yansan. Okay, so Xianyun is living up to her role as a plunge attack buffer so far. Let's see if we can do that again. First, of course, we have to recharge her burst. And yeah, like you've seen in the build overview, I don't really have enough energy recharge. Yeah, that only gave her about half of the energy she needed, that one skill used. Not even half, so this might not actually be enough. Let's see. Yeah, no. Maybe if we can crit a bit, get some particles from Favonius Codex. Okay, yeah, then it's enough. But yeah, definitely want some more energy recharge in the future. Anyway, let's do this again now. Like this. Where's he gone? There. And 48k, yeah, okay. It's actually really good damage. Okay, yeah, so almost 50k with Z0 Xianyun and a 4-star weapon. That is actually better than I expected. I was expecting to be kind of maybe around the same level as Yansan, that she, you know, like in the early 40ks, but almost 50k, yeah? Okay, that's a bit higher than I expected. I'm pretty happy with that. If I can get some more attack percent substats in the future and of course more energy recharge, then she's actually gonna be really good. Her and Yansan both together in a Varesa team, it's gonna be awesome. And Bennett probably have Jeffrus currently, but Bennett might be able to do more. But then again, with Varesa, it's so easy to leave Bennett's circle. And I do have C6 Jeffrus who can give a bunch of pyro damage bonus, or electro damage bonus in this case, even without needing a full overload team. So who knows, maybe Jeffrus is actually gonna be the better choice here. I mean, I personally like Jeffrus a lot more as a support than Bennett, simply because of that circle. I just really don't like circle impact. And Jeffrus doesn't have that problem. But yeah, if you don't have C6 Jeffrus, then you are kinda bound to a full overload team with her. Let's actually see how much damage we do here if we use the full team. First, of course, I have to recharge Xianyun's burst again. And I guess now we just do this, and this, and this, and then we do damage if Masanori stops blocking. Okay, so 40k there already, 62k, 83k. Yeah, really good. I'm really liking this damage. 80k again, 80k again. Yeah, we're consistently doing over 80k there on the plunges. And Masanori is almost dead already. Still struggling to get Xianyun's burst back though, that's not good. Yeah, definitely need more energy recharge. I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, but I really need more energy recharge. And I'm so sad that my artifacts just all rolled into HP. I still can't believe it. How bad my Xianyun rolls were. But I guess it kind of balances out my Yoimiya rolls that I got on my main account lately. I actually managed to get my Yoimiya to rank 57 on Akasha. But yeah, let's do this again. Just get the burst back. Use this, and we don't even need the other characters here to finish Masanori off. There we go. So yeah, to no one's surprise, Xianyun works really well with plunging attack DPSs, like Varesa here, or Gaming as well, of course, and Xiao. Though I guess for Xiao, if you're using Xianyun with him, then you probably shouldn't go for Iridescent Venera, because Anemo obviously can't be shredded by it. So that does nothing for Xiao, so maybe Ocean Hued Clam would be better then, so that Xianyun does some damage with her healing. But yeah, for most other characters, definitely 4-piece Iridescent Venera is the way to go. Now there's one more thing I wanna try with Xianyun, because she isn't just a good support for characters who already have a plunging attack playstyle, but she can also, of course, enable a plunging attack playstyle for other characters, and that is one of the reasons why Diluc is actually a decent DPS nowadays, because he can actually do a lot of plunging attack damage. But as you can see, my Diluc is level 1, and there's a lot of people who have tested that already anyway. So I'm gonna use Ayaka instead. Because Ayaka, of course, can infuse her own attacks with Cryo, and I just kind of want to see how much plunging attack damage Ayaka can do with a team like this, where we have just 3 characters that buff the shit out of Ayaka, and one of them enables her to consistently plunging attack. I have a feeling this is gonna be very fun. Okay, let's apply some cryo first so we can activate Cinder City with Xilonen and then just do this and this and this. And now we plunge. Stop blocking, Masanori. Stop blocking, come on. 58k there, oh my god, that's more than Varesa. I mean, okay, we have Shenhe and Xilonen here as well, so of course. But yeah, okay. 58 punching attack from Ayaka. Never thought I'd see that, but here we are. Let's do this again, this was fun. $70k there! 73 I think it was. Yeah, 73 again. And that didn't crit. 62. Oh my god, this is actually so good. What the heck? And again. Yeah, 73 again. Pretty consistently, 65. And he's almost dead. Let's just finish him off with Xianyun herself. Well, if she did any damage, we could finish him off. Let's try her charged attacks. Yeah, no, okay, her personal damage is basically non-existent, but she's an incredible buffer. That was actually so fun. Seeing Ayaka do 73,000 damage with the plunging attacks. It's just incredible. And really goes to show that Xianyun can enable a plunging attack playstyle for basically any character that can infuse their attacks with an element. Or I guess if you have Bennett at C6, then you can basically make it work with any melee character. Or I guess you could also use Candace or Chongyun. Basically anyone who gives some sort of infusion to the active character. What you probably could do is like Chongyun, Shenhe, Xianyun, and 1 DPS. That would probably work really well, now that I think about it. I mean, probably not well enough for Abyss, let's be real here. But it's definitely gonna be a lot of fun. Sadly, my Chongyun isn't built, but you know, with Ayaka infusing her own attacks, I don't even really need him. Thinking about characters who infuse their own attacks, I kinda wanna try it with Arlecchino now. Something like this. Normally I would use Bennett with Arlecchino, but if you're using plunging attacks, she's probably actually gonna work with Yansan. So that's another advantage of Xianyun. She can basically enable characters to work with Yansan because of all the up and down movement you get from a plunging attack playstyle. So yeah, let's try this team now. Okay, apply some Pyro. Activate Cinder City, Swirl. And use Yansan. And now we plunge. Oh, that was 45k there? Okay. Another 40k. It's actually not as much as Ayaka was doing. Interesting. That might just be the Shenhe difference. But we do have Yansan here, which should be enough to like make up for Shenhe not being here. Maybe I'm not swirling it properly. Okay, let's try this again. And reapply the Pyro after we use Xilonen, just to make sure that we are swirling it. Then Yansan again. And we absorb, and okay, 54k there. Now we are talking. I knew over 50k would be possible. Okay, so it didn't properly swirl, I think, in the previous attempts for some reason. Though, actually Xianyun unleashes a coordinated anemo attack every time you plunge, so that should also swirl. So I'm still not sure why we didn't see 50k in the previous attempts, but whatever. Now we reached 54k. Which, you know, still not as much as Ayaka, but it's definitely not bad. Okay, so while editing, I realized that both Xilonen and Yansan are using the Cinder City set, and that's probably why I didn't get as much damage out of Arlecchino's plunging attacks as I was hoping. Because, of course, the Cinder City effect doesn't stack. And in the Ayaka team, we had Noblesse instead on Shenhe, so that helped a little bit with the damage as well. Now, even if we had Noblesse on Yansan or Xilonen, we still definitely wouldn't get 70k damage like we saw with Ayaka, but we probably would have gotten up to like 60k. So it would have been at least a little bit better. But yeah, overall, Ayaka's plunging attacks were definitely stronger, and I think it's mainly because of Shenhe, because Shenhe is just the absolute GOAT when it comes to supporting cryo characters. I'm probably not gonna use Plunge Arlecchino though in the future, and also not Plunge Ayaka, as fun as it is to try out in a showcase like this. I'm probably just gonna stick with using Xianyun with Varesa and Gaming. But yeah, overall, Xianyun is definitely a very good support. Even though the main characters she can support are pretty limited, that still doesn't change the fact that she did more than Yansan and almost as much as C2 Yansan for Varesa with a very scuffed build that still has a lot of room for improvement. And just that gimmick of her enabling other characters to perform plunging attacks consistently is already so fun that I don't even really care that much how good she is. Though, of course, I am happy that she is actually good. And I'm definitely gonna use her a lot with Varesa and Gaming, of course. But yeah, that concludes my Xianyun showcase. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, have a nice day.